Okay, here we are again. So, I went ahead after the last video and just ended up modeling basically the rest of the mansion interior here, or at least kind of an idea of what's going to look like, just so we have something to go off of at the very start. So, this is basically what we're going to try and do. Most of this stuff is just assets that I have that I've dragged in that I made in the past, or photo scans that I made that I dragged in. So we're going to be ignoring all these, but I'm going to go over how to make this windowed area and this recessed ceiling. So I'm going to hide all this. And making the windowed area is actually very easy. I got a little lazy at this point. In the last video, if you remember, we took this, oh boy, we took this wall here and we did Alt D to duplicate an instance, so it's linked basically, and that means that whatever we do to one, it does to all three. So now we're going to just take this, and instead of duplicating it as an instance, we're going to just duplicate it to be its own thing with Shift D. So now we can do whatever we want to this and it won't affect the others. So I'm going to, let's see, Shift D to duplicate this. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. And I am going to slide this to be as in the middle as I can get it, somewhere in there. Also, please ignore the cars in the background. I'm trying to, it's very annoying. And I'm going to just slide this so that it intersects back here like that. Let's try and get this so it's kind of, yeah, all right, so it lines up here. Okay, cool. And let's go in here. I'm going to select this mirror and I'm going to change this to a glass window instead. So I believe I already have a glass shader in here. I go over how to make these a lot. It's pretty easy to do. Just it's a glossy and a transparent that are mixed together, and it creates this nice glass texture here. All right, back over here, I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to actually go through, and I want to make this look a little bit different. So I'm going to select all these little square panels. I'm going to take those, I'm going to assign them to a wood material so they look like this. I think that will do. And let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just quickly add in a point light in this space so we can actually sort of see what we're doing. I'm going to turn this up nice and bright and make it kind of a nice, pleasant, almost candle glow pinkish orange, like that, because that tends to go kind of nicely with these colors. And we don't really need to have a little fireplace inset here because this is a window, so there shouldn't really be anything here. So I'm going to tab into edit mode again. I want to see if I can just drag these faces. I was going to take them back like this, which we definitely can do. I think that looks better to bring it back, and then we can have just a little kind of table here. And I'm going to just delete this. I'm going to select these faces too, and delete these, and delete that. And I'm just going to select around these edge loops here, and press F to fill. And I'm going to assign this back to the, not that, to the other white wall, like this. So we just have kind of a flat panel here. And we can delete any of this extra geometry out here because it is not helping us and there's no reason for it to be there. Oop, faces, there we go. Okay. Why don't we just go ahead and make this look just a little more fancy. I'm going to go back. I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate, drag them back along here like that. Why don't we inset these kind of halfway into the wall, duplicate them again, and bring it out into the middle so we have kind of a little row of them here. That might be too much, but I'm gonna leave it for now because I think it looks kind of cool. Alright, this window. I kind of like the big pane of glass, but I feel like that's a little bit impractical. So let's see what we can do about this. I'm going to take this face at the bottom. I'm going to Shift D to duplicate it and drag it up. I'm going to bring it up towards the top, up to here, and Alt E to extrude it out along normals like that. And I'm going to drag this a little bit in on itself here. I'm going to select this, and I'm just going to make it be the wood, and cube projection. There, looks pretty good. I'm going to select these faces on outside, Control B to bevel in. I'm going to give it one extra loop here, and I'm going to bring the shape in so it insets in on itself like that. All right. That's still probably a lot of big panes of glass, so we can space this out a little bit by bringing another one down here. We can even, if we're feeling up for it, duplicate this, turn it 90 degrees like this. I'm going to go to vertice edge or vertice mode. I'm going to grab the top, bring it all the way up here, grab the bottom, bring it all the way down. And because it doesn't really look good if these are intersecting, let's make this one a bit longer. So I'm gonna SY and scale it out to make it a bit longer and drag it a bit forward too. Like that. Does that look good or does that look bad? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a very good question. It kind of looks a bit of both. Let's okay. It'd almost be cool to have some little like trim on the edges here, but I don't really want to bother with that right now. I wonder what it would look like to bring this down to the bottom and make a little thing there. That looks kind of cool. I might select this whole thing actually, Shift D to duplicate, scale along the Y to bring it in and bring it back, extrude it in along normals. Select this whole thing, I'm going to apply it to wood. Now this down here is going over, so I'm going to select the vertices of this part and just drag it up so that it's within this inner area here. Okay. Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. I'm going to select this little bit here and drag it up just so it's a bit more even. That looks pretty good. We can make like a little curtain pole. Oh boy. Wow, okay. We can make a little curtain pole up above here, so I think I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take something that we've already made. I'm just going to take this edge here and Shift D to duplicate it. Bring it out on the Y and bring it up high above the window, maybe to like up here or something. I'm going to scale it a bit longer, scale it down like this. We extrude along normals like that. Ooh. Let's try and make it somewhat square. I'm going to select these ends, Alt E, extrude along normals, extrude those out. I'm going to select the inside here, Alt E, extrude along normals, extrude these back. Alt E, extrude along normals. I'm going to change this to individual origins so I can make them both individually bigger. Bring this back to medium point, Alt E, extrude along normals, and bring it back into the wall. With that, like that, I'm going to select these edges. So let's select these two while we're at it. Let's bevel all of that like that. Nice and big. Yeah. That's what we want. Okay, and I'll just select these on the outside too. And bevel those two so it's just got a little bit of roundness. What does that look like? That looks alright. That looks good enough for what we need it for. We can make a little curtain too, but I might add that in later when I in a third installment video when I show how I make some of the props and stuff. Okay, so now that we've got this back wall here, let's make a little ceiling for all of this. So I went on this whole crusade where I made the roof area and I did a really bad job. So I'm just going to go back and we're just going to redo it again. So I'm going to Shift D to duplicate this face here. I'm going to drag it up to appropriate level like here. I'm going to just line it up with this back wall by copying the X location here and pasting it here. And I'm going to make sure this is at 0. Perfect. I'm going to just, let's see. I'm going to IDE inset. I'm going to inset it down close to this back wall here. I'm going to drag these faces in like that. That looks good. Going to select this face. Alt-E extrude along normals, extrude it up a little bit. IDE inset a little bit, Alt-E extrude along normals, like so. I'm going to select this top edge here, Control B to bevel. Let's change this back to 0.5. And I honestly don't want any extra segments. I want this to just be a straight cut in like that. Alright. Let's just model the bones of this thing before we get too far into it. I'm going to select this. I'm going to U, Q project. And I'm going to go into editing mode here. Let's select the right boards. I think this is what I'm using. And select these two. And I'm going to just rotate this 90. So all the boards are converging up into this top bit. I'm going to select this here. IDE inset. Alt-E extrude down. IDE inset again. Alt-E extrude up. IDE inset. Alt-E. IDE inset. Alt-E. And then IDE inset again. I'm going to scale this significantly this way. Alt-E extrude. Well, let's see. I want this to be a bit bigger like that. Alt-E extrude down. Alt-E extrude it up. I'm going to just select all these I made. SZ0, so the same height. And I'm going to take all these rings here. Come on. Select for me. SZ0. I'm going to just drag them down a little farther like that. Okay, cool. This is basically the ceiling. I mean, now it just needs the extra fun stuff. So I'm going to select all these and I am going to give them the white wall that's just white like that. Okay. And let's see. We have two options here. So I'm going to just start by selecting these edges. Alright, and we can start by beveling these. So we basically, yeah, we have two options. We can keep it looking like this. I'm going to go back quickly so I can do this over again. We can keep it round in a sense where it rounds in on itself like this. Or we can go the opposite way and bevel it in like that. So what I'm thinking we do is we make these nice and rounds and have them bubble out like this. Maybe a little smaller though. Let's keep it kind of small, kind of subtle, like so. And then we can take these. Let's see. I'm going to just select these whole things, but then I'm going to go through and deselect the parts that we really don't need. And then I'm going to bevel these nice like this. But these ones are going to get the opposite treatment where they bevel in. Now you can see we're having some issues, so I think we're gonna have to do these one at a time, unfortunately. So, make sure you have it selected so you can select everything. All right, I'm gonna start by just beveling this back in like this, nice and big. All right, I'm going to then select these slightly more internal ones. Make sure you deselect everything that you're not going to use. We might have to bevel this one normally because it is being a little bit annoying and tricky, but I mean this will still look good in the end. We just got to fix these textures. And then lastly we have these inside, so I'm going to select these. I'm going to bevel it nice and big. Going to, yeah, this one works. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to select the faces of all the ones that are supposed to be the white and aren't. Select one of these faces. Do select similar coplanar, and I'll select all these faces on top here, and we can just assign this to white wall, like that. Ooh, that actually looks really cool. Now you can go through. You can select some of these faces and just give them little bevels. Turn the number of faces down here because there's no way you're going to see that. Let's actually assign this to our gold trim. So there's little accents on here. Like so. All right. That looks really cool. That looks good. I'm going to select this edge. Can I safely bevel this? That's a great question. Yeah, we can. I'm going to just make this like this. Gold trim. Okay. That seems to be the ceiling done. Now, in mine I added the chandelier here. I'll just make this invisible. I added a little chandelier coming off the ceiling. And we can definitely do that. I'm just going to do that in the next video, I think, because this one's getting a little lengthy. And the next video will be about making props and about photo scans and stuff like that. But probably before that comes out, there's going to be some other content that's going to come out first in the next week or so. So stay tuned. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope this is helpful.